Hello everyone alongside and welcome back to Formula One 2021. After a very short winter break, Formula One season has returned with some new technical regulations and new liveries. In this video, I'm going to talk about all the 10 new liveries of the season and rank them accordingly. So, before the start of the video, if you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe the channel and drop this video a like. So, let's start with the reigning world champion, the Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula One team, who have launched their livery, naming the W12. This livery is similar to the one that they used last year, but only from the front end. At the rear end of the car, it has changed a lot. The color black remains on most part of the car, but at the rear end, there is a slight transition from black to silver, and in my opinion, the rear end of the car looks a bit messy. The overall car looks good, but the rear end of the car slightly changed my opinion on it. So, only and only because of the rear end of the car, I have ranked the Mercedes livery on number 5. Next up, we have the Red Bull team who finished runner-ups during the last year Formula One season and they have launched their car naming RB16B. First of all, talking about the drivers lineup, they have signed the Mexican Sergio Perez in their team alongside the Dutchman Max Verstappen. And with the inclusion of Sergio Perez, this lineup looks super solid and might be the best driver lineup for this season. Now, moving on to the livery, the Red Bull team doesn't believe in changing their livery a lot. And this season also, they have retained the livery that they are using from 2016. Apart there are not a big differences, there are some slight changes on the rear end. And the change is there is no Aston Martin logo on the rear end, as the Aston Martin team have formed their own new Formula One team this season. Looking onto the overall appearance of the car is good, but not the best car of this season. So, in the livery rankings, I have ranked this car on number 8. Now we have the McLaren Formula One team who finished their last year's Formula One season on P3 in the Constructors' Championship and they have launched the car naming MCL35M. First of all, talking about the drivers lineup, they have retained the young British driver Lando Norris and have signed the Aussie Daniel Ricciardo. Now, moving on to the livery, similar to the Red Bull team, they have retained the livery they used last year with just a little bit of changes. The biggest change for them is inside the livery that they have switched from Renault to Mercedes engines. Moving on to the rankings, I have ranked this livery on number 9. Next up, we have the newly rebranded Aston Martin Cognizant Formula One team, who raced last year as Racing Point Formula One team. Starting with the drivers lineup, they have re-signed Lance Stroll for this season, but with the addition of 4 times world champion Sebastian Vettel, it is a big advantage for the team. Talking about the livery, the maximum part of the car is green, but there are some strokes of the pink on the car, which makes the car more special. And also there are some slight changes in the shape of the front wing, but the overall appearance of the car looks superb. And in the livery rankings, I have ranked this livery on number 2. Now, next team on our list is the French-based Alpine Formula One team who raced last year as Renault Formula One team. Firstly, talking about the drivers lineup, they have re-signed Esteban Ocon for this season and they have a rookie in their team who is the 2 times world champion Fernando Alonso who makes his comeback to Formula One and it will be Fernando Alonso's 19th season in Formula One. Now, moving on to the livery looks just wonderful, and the colors of blue, white, and red shows the team's French identity. There is a French flag on the rear as well as front end of the car. The overall appearance of the car is iconic. It's just magnificent. And to be very frank, this is the one of the best liveries I have seen in Formula One. Moving on to the rankings, no doubt at all, I have ranked this livery on number 1. Next up, we have the AlphaTauri Formula One team who finished 7th in last year's constructor standings, along with an iconic win in Monza to their name. Firstly, talking about the drivers lineup, they have resigned Pierre Gasly and they have a rookie coming to their team, namely Yuki Tsunoda. Next up, moving to the livery, we can see only two colors on the car, namely blue and white, and a little bit of red. On the car, we can see a very big AlphaTauri logo showing the team's identity. The overall appearance of the car is great, and I am very excited to see this livery on the track. On the livery rankings, I have ranked this livery on number 4. Next up, we have the Alfa Romeo Formula One team who finished 8th on the last year's constructor standings. Firstly, talking about the drivers lineup, they have retained both of the drivers from the last season, namely Antonio Giovinazzi and Kimi Raikkonen. Now moving on to the livery. Similar to the Red Bull and McLaren teams, Alfa Romeo have also retained the livery that they have used last year. Only the significant changes are the slight color changes in the front and rear end of the car. Based on this livery, I have ranked the car on number 7. Next up, we have the Uralkali Haas F1 team who finished ninth on last year's constructor standings. The American-based team has fully rebooted its drivers lineup as they have signed Nikita Mazepin and Mick Schumacher, who is the son of 7 times world champion Michael Schumacher. Now, moving on to the livery, the overall appearance of the livery is very clear, and I like this livery. But there is a controversy going on this livery for using the Russian flag on it. So, only because of this reason, I have ranked this livery on number 6. Next up, we have the Scuderia Ferrari mission winner Formula One team who finished 6th on the last year's constructor standings. Firstly, talking about the drivers lineup, they have resigned the Monegasque Charles Leclerc and have signed a new face in the name of Carlos Sainz. With the inclusion of Carlos Sainz, the team's drivers lineup looks super steady. Talking about the livery, the Ferrari team has always kept the scarlet red color on the livery. The front end of this year's car look as same as they used last year, but at the rear end of the car, it looks a bit too messy. Firstly, they have added the matte finished burgundy color on the rear end of the car, which they used in the 1000 GP they used last year at Mugello. And secondly, that Mission Winnow logo in the green doesn't look even the part of the car and looks like it is something out of the world. Moving on to the livery rankings, I am very disappointed by this year's Ferrari's livery and I have ranked this livery on number 10. The last livery on our today's list is the Williams Formula One team who finished 10th in the last year's constructor standings. Firstly, talking about the drivers lineup, they have retained Nicholas Latifi as well as George Russell. Moving up to the livery, they have built this livery with a theme of recognizing previous success and a retro feeling of the 90s. The front end of the car is similar to that they used in last year's Williams, but the rear end of the car is very unique with different shades of blue used on it, and those yellow strokes on the car makes it look even amazing. Moving on to the standings, I like this livery a lot and I rank this livery on number 3. So, these are my rankings for the liveries from the 2021 season. Don't forget to share your suggestions in the comment section down below. And yes, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe the channel. Thank you everyone so much for watching and I hope to see you all in the next one.